is Kathy Reynolds, aka Mistress Paige, and welcome back to Story Time! Oh boy, do I have a juicy one for y'all today. With regards to today's story, I want all of you to take a quick look at how awesome my shirt is. Shakespeare in the Park! I love theater. It is my life, and it is my love, and what can I do about it? When we talk about theater, we're not talking about this like mansy-pansy like musical Broadway stuff. No. We are talking Shakespeare, Chekhov, Beckett, Euripides, Mamet, the classics, the hardcore. We're the nitty flippin' gritty. My first ever play was a rendition of The Three Little Kittens when I was in kindergarten. I played the mother cat, and you better believe that I mothered the ever-living crap out of those kittens. My first real play was called The Caucasian Chalk Circle. I played the invalid. I had a flipping cane as a prop. It was phenomenal. The older boys used to trip me with my cane backstage. That moment in the 4th grade when I was being mercilessly bullied with my own prop was the moment that sparked my undying love of the theatrical arts. My theater teacher's name was Mr. Javin Tanner. And his theater was hardcore. Like, you committed. When you signed up for one of those plays, you were literally selling your soul away for 2 hours every night for 5 nights for 6 weeks. It was an intense process. This was not a theater for pansies. This was a hardcore theater. This took guts to do. In this theater, there were certain rules. Rule number 1. Never show up late. Rehearsal started at 3:30 on the dot. If you walked in those doors at 3:31, you better believe that every single member of the cast and crew would swivel around and stare at you judgmentally while some of them shook their heads in a disappointed mom-like fashion. Rule number 2. Never miss rehearsal ever. Our theater was so small that we didn't have enough people for understudies. So you had to show up to every flippin' rehearsal and every flippin' performance, or there would be serious, dire consequences. There was one girl, and her dad was really sick and actually passed away. And 2 days later, she showed up for rehearsal because that's how committed she was. Rule number 3, don't touch Daphne. Daphne is a styrofoam tree made by one of the art teachers for a production of A Winter's Tale. Since that performance, she has become the icon of the Black Box Theater. She's very fragile. If you touch her, she will break. If you break her, you will lose a hand. Rule number 4, there is a metal grate backstage somewhere. Don't touch it, ever. It's so sharp that it'll cut off all of your fingers. I don't know why we have that grate at all. It's just there. Rule number 5, commit. Whatever you are told to do, you do it. And you give your whole soul when you do it. Rule number 6, the show must go on. That means that whatever is happening, if a kid Exorcist style projectile vomits all over the stage, we keep acting. If somebody drops a line, pick it up. If somebody accidentally slips out of character, disregard it and move on. We keep going, we roll. The energy must continue. Our theater was really intense. People who joined the theater either left screaming and crying covered in blood, guts, and scars, or they are still in the theater making blood sacrifices to the god Dionysus. Fall term, senior year of high school, we performed Shakespeare's Merry Wives of Windsor. Me and my good friend Rhea Sahasrabuddhe were the Merry Wives. She was Mistress Ford. I was Mistress Page. There's one part in this play where I enter stage left, and Mistress Ford's husband, Master Ford, who is played by the theater teacher's son River, walks in stage right. The two of us then unite. We have a banterous conversation, after which I exit stage right, and he continues on in a wonderful monologue that is hilarious. It's not a super long scene. It's maybe 5 pages, like 10 minutes or so. It's not a super important scene either. I mean, yes, it does contain some key plot information, but we're not talking about like flippin' Elsa's castle over here. It's not as if Hamlet is about to burst forth from backstage full on, to be or not to be. That is the question, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer. The next scene, me, Rhea, and a little freshman girl, her name is Savannah, walk in from stage left, and the play continues. Opening night, our first performance ever of A Merry Wives. We were completely sold out. The audience was jam-packed. They were like sardines or tightly packed salmon. I mean, the youths and the chillins were spilling out and they were all mushed together, like sitting on the floor in the front of the risers. That was a mess. Oh my. I, at one point, hear my cue. So I grab Rhea and Savannah and I pull them right behind the curtains and I wait for the lights to go to black so that we may enter. Lights fade. We enter. Stage left. Lights come back on. And guess who walks flippin' on from stage right? River. So I had accidentally got my two cues confused and I had mixed them up. Rhea and Savannah were not supposed to be on stage at this moment. Upon River's face, I see a mix of confusion, utter befuddlement, and anger intense enough that I thought he was gonna burst one of his blood vessels in his face. I look to my left and I see Rhea, and she is wearing the face of absolute indignation. Rule number 6, the show must go on, no matter what. You can't ad-lib Shakespeare. What on earth do we do? Luckily, River is a flippin' champ. He is a saint of a man. Like, you go, good sir. Swing low, sweet chariot. What? He basically just walks past us and looks all disgruntled and goes, and then exits. Our tech people were so on point. They whipped out the next sound cue, whipped out the next light cue, fast forward a little bit, lights go down, lights come back up, and the play goes on rolling as it should. And as soon as Rhea comes backstage, I grab her and I pin her to a wall and I say, Rhea, we just skipped an entire scene! And there's panic and fear in my voice because we were going to die. We were going to die. And Rhea, completely oblivious to the danger we're in, was like, I know, can you believe it? Why would River walk on stage like that? She was 100% certain that it was River's fault. I knew otherwise. No, Rhea. That was us. We both grabbed Savannah and we pin her to the wall, as seniors would do to a freshman, and prepared to beat her. Savannah. We skipped a scene. Savannah was like, I know, and we were like, why didn't you tell us? I'm just a lowly freshman, and you're both seniors, and you should know what to do with your life. Savannah, when Rhea and I are together, we become the Wonder Twins of stupidity. You should not trust us to be aware of our surroundings at all when we are together. I knew that as soon as intermission was called, Mr. Javin Tanner himself would emerge from the risers and come backstage and be all, what did you do? All too swiftly, the time came. Intermission was called. And just as I had suspected, Mr. Tanner makes his way backstage. Mr. Tanner walks up to us and he looks us up and down, and all he said was, well, we're doing great on time. So I hope all y'all enjoyed that story. If you enjoyed, be sure to gently tap upon that like button because it really means a lot to me. If you click on the little bubble of my face in this general area, that will subscribe you to my channel, which will ensure that you will get notifications every time I post a new video. And over here, you may watch the last 2 videos I have posted. So, I hope y'all all have a fan-flippin-tastic night. Stay fresh, my friends.